Hello, YouTube. My name is Carrie Johnson, and I am a paralegal student over at Riverside City College. And today, I would like to discuss California Business and Professions Code 6450. This, uh, uh, but before I do, I want to go over a few housekeeping items before we start. And I won't go through all of them, but under Business and Professions Code Section 6450, as a paralegal student, I cannot provide legal advice. So that is number one. But there are 8 things that are listed under this section that a paralegal cannot do. But um, if you are someone who is of the general population and happen to stumble upon this video and you watch it, the appropriate feedback that I think that can be left under this video would be you can provide commentary on my public speaking skills or presentation skills. I do Toastmasters meetings occasionally, but that is not a priority at this time. So these vlogs and videos allow me to demonstrate my public speaking and presentation skills. So this is me. And as I mentioned at the start of this video, I'm a paralegal student over at RCC. So, Chapter 5.6 of California's Business and Professions Code 6450, they define what a paralegal is and the qualifications that must be met in order for someone to hold themselves out to the public as a paralegal or as working as a paralegal. What is a paralegal? So, a paralegal means a person who holds himself or herself out to be a paralegal, qualified by education, training, or work experience, either contracts with or is employed by an attorney, law firm, corporation, governmental agency, or other entity that performs substantial legal work under the direction and supervision of an active member of the State Bar of California as defined in Section 6060, or an attorney practicing law in the federal courts of this state that has been specifically delegated by the attorney to himself or herself. The traditional route that most people take, and is the route that I took that I thought was the safest, was acquiring my paralegal education through the local community colleges. I have worked as a call center agent for Corinthian College's corporate office in Santa Ana, California, and I believe they were a private, either private for-profit or private nonprofit. But the school got shut down by the California Attorney General. So it just made more logical sense. The tuition fees are waived when attending community colleges in California, but they have either ABA or non-ABA paralegal programs. And my own opinion that I have to say, uh, there is no difference in the uh, level of teaching from the paralegal programs at an ABA or non-ABA paralegal school. I've attended them both, transferred courses, but I started off at Riverside Community College. So the ABA schools, ABA approved schools were Coastline Community College, Manchester Community College, and Bunker Hill Community College. Those were the ABA approved paralegal schools. The non-ABA school that is accredited or has an accreditation for their paralegal program is Riverside Community College. That's where I initially started off in June 2008. And both ABA and non-ABA schools still tend to teach from some of the books that are coming from Aspen Publishing that has a lot of the paralegal textbooks being offered. So the books are still expensive no matter what. Some of the instructors try to find the most up-to-date, inexpensive textbook to teach from, but it's very hard to do, and because there's always some change in laws or some type of update that they need to make modifications in addition to of a textbook. So, but it's all about the money though. So it's just a way to get a student's money every semester. Now, this section 6450 discusses some tasks that a paralegal may perform. So there is the case planning stage, developmental stage, and management stage. Under case planning, you will do legal research, interviewing clients, intake of initial case evaluation, fact gathering, and retrieving information. Through the developmental stage, drafting and analyzing legal documents based on relevant laws, facts of the case, client interviews. Now, the management side, you are somewhat managing an attorney and their workload. So you are collecting, compiling, and utilizing technical information to make an independent decision or recommendation to the supervising attorney, or if permitted, to represent clients before a state or federal administrative agency. You will be making independent decisions and recommendations yourself. Now, I have applied to the Boston Public Health Commission. It's one of the oldest health departments in the United States for a paralegal position within their labor and employment division. And some of the administrative and legal responsibilities that are associated with that position involve representing the agency in hearings and pretty much doing the work of an attorney, while I think that the chief counsel and general counsel will be overseeing and making observations of the paralegal or whoever they put in that position to if they fill that position or not, because they posted the job and then withdrew the position and then reposted it again. So that's a good example of when a paralegal will have an opportunity to be a representation of a state agency in a hearing. For the state of California, and if you are working as a paralegal, as of January 1st, 2007, there are annual requirements that I don't think are burdensome. So you've got 4 hours of legal ethics and then 4 hours of mandatory continuing legal education in either a general law or specialized area of law. So it's really up to the individual if you want to specialize in a specific area, that you should, learn the ins and outs from start to finish in a specific area, but it is really up to you. My thoughts on the legal profession rapidly growing that I have heard come out of instructors' mouths that I don't think are honest, and you can tell that they're not honest because of their actions and the way in which they intentionally try to prolong a student's stay at a local community college by, for example, adding classes every couple of years. So at Riverside City College, I completed legal research in computer applications. Then I returned back in the fall of 2023, and the dean decides to add law office technology, where I acquired the online training through the National Society for Legal Technology, which they have different software programs that are not just for law offices, but other local businesses use these software programs as well. But there is a redundancy in law office technology and legal research and computer applications. Either way, I passed both classes. I also passed the exact same class at Coastline Community College. And at that school, it's ABA approved. It was legal research and computer applications. But Professor Bryce Letterman is also a California judge. And I got an A out of his class. So to come back as a returning student in the fall of 2023, I was not happy about a number of things that were going on at the school. But I still completed the course, got an A. But my thoughts on are that they're not honest. I think there's a bit of stagnation, and a lot of it has to do with the credibility of a lot of licensed attorneys that have not been checked as far as their work experience. A lot of attorneys that cannot afford to have a solo practice, and a good indication is that they don't pay their paralegals or they don't pay them on time, and I have heard that, and that has been vocalized to me before outside of other stuff that I have seen. So my thoughts is that, do your own research. It can be overwhelming once you even finish your paralegal education, and it can, and I'll discuss that now, that the standards that they have are pretty high. So you graduate with your paralegal certificate. It is really up to the individual to decide whether or not you want to acquire additional professional licensing as a certified paralegal. From my own personal experience, and I don't want to bring race into this presentation, but a majority of the legal profession is white. White women, white men. And white women that are certified paralegals and are teaching paralegal courses at the community colleges, you will kind of question, how did you get here, and who made you, how are you deemed qualified to teach this paralegal course? And I think a lot of them they pass it, they can pass a test, but where's the real experience? They have job security at the community colleges that is safe for a lot of the female paralegals, paralegal instructors to teach there. So that's a safe space for them to stay. But it's really up to you if you want to become certified. There is more money that you will have to pay, just like professional licensing, and fees that attorneys have to pay. You also have to pay once you become a paralegal for membership due fees, and if you want to, I don't think that really strengthens the credibility of a paralegal becoming certified. It just simply means that you know how to take the test and you passed it. So now there are conferences throughout the United States. They have ACIDS, ACAMS, ACFCS. These are some of the large vendors that offer legal education at a higher level, that you have to pass a certain test, like the e-discovery certification through ACIDS is they have a higher standard to strengthen the credibility of a law practice. Once you pass their education, the certifications and their requirements to sit in for their exam. But all of these organizations, they hold conferences every year, and they will normally pick a major city. They have conferences for ACAMS in Las Vegas, ACIDS, they have a uh, chapter in New York, and they will normally host local events that I have attended personally in person. Some of those events in New York City, and then sometimes in California, San Diego, they will do law conferences there as well. So, even after you graduate with your paralegal degree, you will continue to have continuing legal education, continuing practice in education, and continuing education for as long as you hold yourself out to be a paralegal or you are working as a paralegal. That's going to be ongoing for the rest of your time. Then there are some in-person professional networking events. That's also in just about every state. It's up to you, the individual, to decide what you would like to attend. I don't attend everything, but I got a taste of what it is like in New York City, and they are busy, busy, busy. These are people who, uh, there's a lot of events that are going on and conferences that go on in New York City that was just way too busy for me. But they are there. Local law events, they happen every state. This is an opportunity where you can attend these local events to hear about new laws, trends, or legal topics on industry standards of operations, because no law office operates the same. So this is your time that you can go in, meet with other legal professionals. They might do, like, hey, here's my business card. You can refer anybody that you don't have experience in a certain area of law. You can refer them to my office. Or, hey, there is this local small business owner grant that I heard about. I can put you in contact with that person that you can apply for this particular grant. Or, again, these local legal events with local business owners and law offices, that's where you kind of get to discuss any types of trends. They do some speed networking events. So, it's really up to you if you want to attend those. They got them virtually now. They're doing them online, and for those who don't want to go in person, they also are doing it online as well. Annual law events, that's varies from state to state. But what happens is a lot of vendors will come in to do demonstrations. They'll put up different booths and hold demos for people in the legal profession, because they want to try to either get the person, the lawyer or paralegal, to purchase a certain product or service that the company is offering. And they do quite a bit of these types of events in New York City on electronic discovery or document management software programs. They'll do demonstrations there, and they have these little breakout booths, and you can go watch the demonstration. There's some freebie stuff that they give out when you attend these events in New York City as well. Some are interesting, and some of them, again, they can be boring, but it's up to you whether or not you would like to attend. So this is the end of my Sunday vlog. If you have any questions, you can drop your questions below on this YouTube video. But as I mentioned in the very first Second slide of this presentation. You cannot ask me legal questions and I cannot provide legal advice. The citation for this blog is coming from the California Code, Business and Professions Code 6450, and that is cited here. Now, my journey to becoming a paralegal has been a bumpy road, but I have outlined it here that I started back in June 2008 at Riverside City College with a declared major in paralegal studies. I had some personal life events that happened in 2011 that led to relocation, and another traumatic event happened in March 2014, but I still continued on with my paralegal education while that was going on. And some other things happened that required some maneuvering, but eventually I returned back to Riverside City College, where I maintained program catalog rights for the paralegal program there. And I have one more English and one more math class, and then I will be officially a paralegal. This is myself. This is me, the presenter and the original founder and sole managing owner of a innovative legal, a company that I started back in California while being a paralegal student. So I started this company when I was in college. So still in college, but I'm almost done. And then I move on to the next stage. But that's all for me this Sunday morning. It's June 8th, 2025 at 6:40 a.m. Thank you for watching, and talk to you soon.